Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Married to Medicine. This is season 11. I don't know what episode it is. I apologize. Possibly 13 or 14. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video, and also you can subscribe and share this video. And you can leave your comments below. Now let's get into it. Okay, so we start off this episode after the aftermath of what happened between Quad and Dr. Greg and Dr. Greg and Sweet Tea. Simone and Cecil, they are reacting to what happened and kind of making joke light of it. Cecil coming down, trying to imitate what's his face and all that good stuff. That's like an interlude. Contessa and Scott, they're saying something that's an interlude. I have a feeling that Contessa is going to be back next season, even though I don't know what they are bringing. There's no update. Of course, they're friends of the show, and you don't really have to say anything too much. But okay, sure. We get to Quad and King. They're just going over last night. She said, "What happened to Greg to bring out all this rage?" And it looks like Quad was like, when we mentioned how much sex we have, that's when Greg flew off the handle. That's when the temperature changed or whatever. And Quad also says there was no grace for when they brought my ex back on the show. So you get what you got. And you can tell that Dr. Greg has not changed, as she has said. You sit up here yelling at this girl in her face. Da 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 da. So Greg and Brownleaf, they have their own talk, and Greg tries to apologize to Brownleaf, and Brownleaf eats it up because that's a husband. And he says that I was trying to protect you. See, I understand that we have this age gap relationship, and was thinking in my mind that you would have had a mind of an elderly, wise person not to get involved in all of this stuff. Y'all purposely signed up, interviewed, and got hired to come back to a hostile environment that you say that you are traumatized by your ex-wife, Dr. Greg. Your new wife don't really know what's going on. She's a fan of the show. She's hearing stuff from you, and she's playing really crazy, trying to throw out old stuff of Quad. You're gonna move in the house, and you have to throw stuff of Quads. You put it on camera. What is that about? That is your storyline, ma'am? I thought it was about babies. But somehow you made the ex-wife part of your storyline. But you're going on all these interviews and doing your YouTube videos saying that Quad is jealous of you or wants something from you and what you got going on. But this man basically says that you're not intelligent enough. You're not wise enough. But this fool married you because you said that you could give him what you want, which was a baby. That's what you said. And now that we're holding you accountable. But anyways, so obviously Greg is going to think less of you because you are not mature enough to really be with him. So I want to know if you're going to implement this in your sweet and savory dating classes to try to encourage older men and younger women to hook up with each other. And I guess older women and younger men hook up with each other, which has been going on since the beginning of time. Nothing new. So what do y'all think about that? Because Greg really insulted her and she just took it and it flew over her head. All right, so Eugene and Toya, Steve and Mimi, they go out and just have some time together. We find out from Steve that he's basically a hometown hero. You know, he's in football. He was also a receiver for a couple of teams and all that. And he used sports to get out of the hood. Mimi's not that really athletic, but she was a dancer in high school and college, and she forgot how to ride a bike. She knew back then, but basically none of this physical stuff is not her forte. So they talk a little bit about last night's events, and they're trying to put some blame on Toya as far as lighting the flame. And Toya's like, well, I really spoke what everyone else was thinking. which is true. I don't really think that Toya, look, stuff was boiling already, and it was just a matter of time of something happening. Y'all can say Quad started it, but y'all wasn't hearing the stuff that was going on. For whatever reason, y'all wasn't hearing it. If y'all are not y'all, then let's move along. While they were answering, you got Sweet Tea, as far as at least the sex question, saying, "Oh, that's not true. Somebody's lying. So why would you insert yourself in their relationship?" And now all of a sudden, Quad is crazy because she come back at y'all at the opportunity, finding out how much sex that y'all actually do and trying to make a baby. But as I said in the last video, Sweet Tea, you hooked up with the older man and a doctor, uh, matching each other's sexual chemistry in time, and you might want to just get him to go in a cup. And you get a turkey baster and have fun. That's all I got to say because what y'all gonna do? So whatever. So anyways, I don't think Toya really lit the fire or kept the fire burning. It was there. It was going to happen. Let's see. So Heavenly, Dr. Jackie, and Simone, they get together. Simone and Jackie are did say, look, from the questions you were asking, because they were trying to figure out what happened and why this happened with Quad and all that. Simone said the questions you asked weren't messy at all. So, and Dr. Heavenly said, I thought it was funny, when everything was going on. But Simone says it looks like that Quad and Craig, and Greg, I don't know why I'm saying Craig these days. Quad and Greg need some healing still after it shows. It could have been that way. I think it was quite inappropriate to bring these people on. Why were there questions about, okay, is it going to be okay with being around your ex-wife? Because this season you're traumatized. I'm just not understanding. Quad at least showed great temperance and, how can I say this? And a lot of patience. She was being a little bit more graceful, despite even showing up to her bridal shower pampering thing that she had. It's quite interesting. I'm just saying. I just don't see. I'm not saying that Quad did not do anything as far as last season, because of course what T goes back to is when Quad and Heavenly got together and she imitated Brownleaf. I was like, okay, I don't know. Y'all could think that's bad or whatever, but she kind of exposed herself with this whole access to the money thing. Oh, I only saw a clip. I was not going to watch What Happens Live. Do y'all know that now Sweet Tea is making money off of the shirts of access to the money? She gave a shirt to Andy, and Andy felt uncomfortable, and then Andy had to ask Dr. Greg, how do you feel about this? And Dr. Greg was like, well, it's quite concerning. This marriage is not going to last. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. Is not going to last. They are about to go through hell. Y'all can say what y'all want about her husband and their marriage. They're about to no. Is it something that I just want to know how many people are going to buy this shirt? I'm about to monetize about a slogan that I've done. Who's really going to walk around with that? Even the gold diggers ain't going to walk around with that because they want to still keep digging for gold. We're going to see. We're going to see. But hey, your husband don't even approve of it, and you still went along with it to try to monetize it. Okay, but that's your husband. They talk about Apollo was coming, Jackie, Simone, and Heavenly, and Simone's like, well, what are you doing? And Dr. Heavenly said, Phaedra knows about it. And of course, Simone says, if anything pops off, Simone says, Phaedra knows about it. And it is true. We go to the flashbacks. She says that Apollo was coming. Phaedra was okay with it. Then she gets into the confessional saying that she said to Dr. Heavenly, it's weird. Dr. Heavenly said that she had an off-camera conversation and also an on-camera conversation with Phaedra about this. Nothing new, nothing surprising, none of that. Y'all can call it messy or whatever. I mean, if Phaedra could threaten Heavenly and go to production about Heavenly's YouTube, saying that she better not say anything about her on YouTube, you mean to tell me that Phaedra wasn't down for the ish on this trip? Just saying. But now it's a different story. It was weird. I told her it was weird. Why is it weird? I mean, Apollo came to the reunion, and Apollo said that y'all's relationship is impeccable. What's weird? What's weird about that? He should not have been at the reunion. Did you call Bravo and say that it was weird? Did you say Purveyors of Pop? It's weird that the ex-husband is at the reunion? No, because you want that check. Did you not show up because your husband showed up there? No. And y'all were in agreement that your relationship is impeccable. So y'all keep that in mind before y'all act like everybody else is messy. But these two don't know how to be honest. And it took all of this to come up with the truth as to what's really going on in Phaedra's life. They're going to an exclusive island and talking about, let's get assigned seating right now in regards to these folks, just to make sure that nothing pops off. So now the boat, they are waiting for Apollo to get there. Everyone's getting seated. Apollo pulls up and he brings his wife, Shireen. We've known Shireen for a very long time. We knew about her during season 9, I think it was, that he brought her around to Old Lady Gang. I think it was like a tasting going on. There was speculation and calculations that it looked like Apollo may have been cheating on Phaedra. Phaedra has not said anything about Apollo cheating, that Shireen was the mistress. And that's not even the reason why Apollo and Phaedra got divorced. So now 7 years later that you're divorced, you don't want to speak to this woman that you have labeled as the mistress. None of this stuff is really calculating to me. But Phaedra fans have allowed Phaedra not to have to say anything, and then she's still TV gold. That's not fair. Because it's like, oh, so Shireen was cheating with Apollo. Were they together or what? Because I don't want to defend a mistress, but I don't know if she's a mistress for real. We're just going by Phaedra. But we do know about Mr. Chocolate that you got very offended by. So Apollo comes with Shireen. They see Shaq. Apollo is saying that Phaedra is downplaying Apollo and Shaq's relationship. He's hearing that Phaedra saying that Apollo didn't really know Shaq. She's saying in her confessional that Apollo knew Shaq from the club. We're going to find out a little bit later that they're quite good boys. Shireen lets us know that they are family, practically family. He comes to holidays, and Apollo and Shaq, they hang out almost every weekend. That's something different from just hanging out in the club to what Apollo and Shireen are saying. And Apollo sat on the boat as Quad is just asking questions, we could get things squashed, not much to it, but we just want to just see what's up in regards to all this stuff that's going on. Like, because y'all being told one thing, I'm told another thing and all this good stuff. So there's a setup for a lot of crap to happen. And y'all can, again, keep blaming Heavenly, but there's a lot of mess that's going on the inside of whatever this plot and scheme against Phaedra. So we get to a sandbar. Everybody's having fun, and now it's time for the men to be around each other, and now it's time to measure their eggplants. All of a sudden, all this athletic people come out. Greg got to do all of these push-ups and say, Letitia, 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 Letitia. Sit down, Greg. Sit down. Sit down. I don't know who it was, but either Cecil or Eugene was just welcoming King into the group and all that good stuff. King said, thank you. There's no disrespect on my end. I understand how uncomfortable this could be. Dr. Greg says, I don't have no disrespect towards you. Da 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 da. The things that happened last night was was not really called for. He says, as far as with Quad, she was speaking on my new marriage and I did not handle it very well. It looked like things were going to go peaceably, and then Greg wanted to keep on talking and talking and talking and talking, and say, I said that she talks too much and she needs to shut the F up. And King was taken aback, said, whoa, I didn't hear you say that. And at that point, that just sparked up something. Like King said, well, I think you owe her an apology for saying that. And then Greg said, well, it's a mutual thing as far as the disrespect that was happening. Da, 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 da. Eugene was trying to come up with a way to settle things, but anyways, they kind of just broke things up and things were a little bit better. And then, of course, I was saying regarding the girls, they were in the pool sitting on the floaties, and Shireen was like, no, they're family. Da, 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 da. The thing with Southern Belle Phaedra, again, I do not want to take up for an alleged mistress, but it just seems like she's always in this victim mode. I'm the wife or the ex-wife, and I was disrespected. You did that to Kenya. But you enjoyed Kenya flirting with Apollo. And you can go back to season 5, know that I'm not lying. Until you fell out with her, you were okay with what Kenya and Apollo had going on. Y'all can go back to season 5 and watch it for yourselves. But now you are the disrespected wife. Maybe she was the mistress, then maybe not. Anyway, so Shireen's just giving the tea as to what's really up, as I said before. Because they're asking questions like, okay, this Shaq guy. So Shaq comes by, and Tori's asking these questions, how well do you know Apollo? Did you da-da-da-da-da? And Shaq's like, why are you asking all of these questions? Because we're getting to know you. You sitting up in this trip acting like you're lovey-dovey with this. I forgot the scene earlier where they're feeding each other strawberries. So y'all go on a couple of dates, and now you're feeding each other strawberries. For a scene. For TV. Shaq is hired. Y'all better know that. We find out that Shaq is quite for the streets. He's an F-boy. And he already said that he's not really looking for marriage on the boat. But then he curtails it and tries to say that if somebody comes by, then he'll okay, whatever, sir. Just say that you're for the streets and you don't want anything like that. Especially in the Atlanta streets. So possibly since you're like that in the streets of Atlanta, you are a scammer and all that good stuff. You wanted camera time and you got it. Apollo comes up and is questioning Shaq, you didn't tell me everything that was going on. He says, why do I have to tell you everything? I told you that we matched on this dating thing. And again, Apollo was like, you didn't say all this other stuff that you had going on. And then Phaedra was like, why does it matter? We're divorced, da 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 da. I say true, but I think that there's a line that's been crossed. If Apollo and Shaq are these boys, I think he should have said something. But they acting like they just so serious and so lovey-dovey. And y'all been on a couple dates on camera. We don't know what y'all done did off camera. So Phaedra's in her confessional saying that's just stalkerish. And she also said something, if y'all didn't catch it, you always do this with every man that comes into my life. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I was like, wait, but y'all got this impeccable relationship. So every man that comes into your life, he got something to say. So you didn't take a greater stance about Apollo coming if this is the type of man that's still in your life acting this way towards you. But Heavenly is wrong. And I know I'm going to be defending Heavenly next week. This is the thing. Phaedra doesn't say anything, and nobody requires her to say anything. And now we're getting all this information that if people knew, they probably would have avoided it, or just would have been very messy. As she feels some type of way now in her confessional, saying that what's going on, and why are these folks bringing my ex around to antagonize me? These are these type of bitches. I don't cuss like that on here, but all I gotta say is, Phaedra, you are these type of bitches. And how I can say that is, you brought Quad around to your friends fiance's bachelorette party. No heat was really brought to you. Heavily kept getting heat. No heat. Dr. Greg had one conversation with you. T wants to be friends with you, with the one that brought her ex-wife around. That's the thing. It's like Phaedra can always slip and slide out of situations, but you are part of the problem. So you are those type of bitches. You're no victim. And somehow you're able to do all of this stuff around and don't really get any heat. Anyways, if you find offense to it, I can't help it, because if she can be offensive to them, I'm gonna be offensive to her. So Shireen steps in. It was like, don't nobody really care about Faye Faye. And Phaedra was like, my name is not Miss Faye Faye, you bad built bitch. Okay, I mean, Phaedra, you've gotten surgery. And you also bleach your skin. You want to go for looks? You want to go for looks. Everybody thinks it's just one of the best reads in the world. So then, as they're kind of fighting and getting all that stuff, they separate each other. T wants to start talking and saying, who invited you to Shireen? And Heavenly said, I did. Why did you do all that? And Heavenly said, don't come here questioning me about nothing. Now get out of my face. And at this point, Sweet Tea wants to go off and starts calling Dr. Heavenly a bitch and all this stuff. So this is my thing. T have been sitting with these jokers all day long. When things get hot, now you want to confront the person you think orchestrated all this stuff, is responsible. I guess taking up for Phaedra, who didn't take up for you. This is getting too long, but I'm almost done. What I was gonna say. So they're about to get into it. Phaedra takes her off, and you need to stay with me. Then we get to another scene where King pulls Greg to the side and basically is giving him order as to how things are going to run. He said, look, I'm gonna let things slide for what happened here, but from now on, don't speak to Quad. Don't say nothing to Quad. And then Greg was like, she don't need to say nothing to me. And King was like, well, she can say what she wants. Come to me. And she said, well, what if she's saying all this stuff to me? He said, come to me. And that was the right type of order and all that. So Greg's going on. The guys are now coming in because now Greg wants to start acting a fool. I don't know what set things off with between King and Greg. I'm probably was edited out. Next thing you know, Greg is mouthing off and flaring his hands and all that. Shaq comes over, da 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 da. Greg backs up, or at least somebody takes him over or whatever. King takes off his shirt and starts running after him. Like, I ain't that type of mother. I said, oh, okay. Go ahead, King. Something was up because I'm trying to figure out what sparked it. And look, Dr. Greg has a slick mouth. And I know he provoked it. People could say, well, King was being too aggressive. No, King was laying down the law. And if he did not do that, y'all would have called him a punk. But now we're looking at this egghead now running away and going to call the cops. So, whatever. I enjoyed the episode. Atlanta, you got a lot to live up to. And sorry, y'all do. We got to see what y'all going to do next season. This is coming up season in a couple weeks, because y'all got some mighty shoes to fill. And Phaedra, more than your ass in the air, is going to be needed to revive this show. All right, so that's all I do have. Y'all give me your thoughts and comments on what you thought was going on. Do y'all blame Heavenly? Do y'all think that Phaedra and Apollo had stuff going on where they were producing too? We finally got the truth that things aren't really right between Apollo and Phaedra. And we got to some dirt. But it took 2 seasons to finally get like what's really going on between Phaedra and Apollo. And what we actually think about Shireen. We didn't know. And I think that that's a disservice, but y'all Phaedra fans are very crazy to me. There's no way that I would be a fan of somebody that can't even answer straight questions. They can't even be honest and just say what's going on. 7 years later, y'all still back 7 years later in your relationship. All right. That's all I do have this week. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like and share this video. Subscribe if you're new, and leave your comments. And until the next one, peace. Have a good day.